Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Jade, and I just realized that my mic has been silent for like the past several minutes while I've been trying to record. So, we're starting again. Um, don't know what all we missed. Basically, this is a note from the last person whose funeral we held. Haven't read this one yet, but this one, very important. It is a small, like, note on what you should and shouldn't say during funerals. I actually just realized the audio may have been recorded, but I may have forgotten that I put it on mute while I had to deal with something with my dog. And now I feel like an idiot. Okay, you know what? We're moving on. We're leaving it in. We're moving on. I'll fucking edit it in post. Okay, here's a thing about mushrooms. Here we go. You hate mushrooms so much, I found the perfect thing for you. I've been thinking about death. I know, shocker. Look what you've done to me. I think I want this mushroom suit. No, it's not called that. But I can't remember the name of it, and I'm writing you on my phone, so I don't feel like Googling it right now. Anyways, the idea is that it's a biodegradable suit that deceased wears. It's made of what people call a biomix, i.e. mushrooms and other microorganisms that help to decompose bodies, neutralize toxins in the body, and provide nutrients for the soil for plants. I think this one company even offers casket liners for use in green caskets. I think this is what I want. It'll be just like Hannibal. Oh my god, I was about to say that. I just started watching Hannibal with my boyfriend. It's on Netflix, and it's one of those shows that I was like, I want to watch this with somebody. Not because it doesn't really creep me out, but it was just one of those things where it's like, I want to be able to talk to somebody about it while I'm watching it and like theorize about what's going on. And I haven't seen the whole series, but we just got through that episode where, spoiler alert, second episode, they're looking for a killer who puts his, victims into diabetic comas and fills them with like sugar water or something like that. And grows mushrooms using their bodies. So they're alive, but they're in comas, and at some point during like the decomposition process with all those mushrooms, they'll just like die naturally and all that. But the dude's like obsessed with mushrooms and like the connections that they have and blah 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 blah. Anyways, wait, don't tell people I said that, okay? But seriously, it's pretty cool. I love all the death innovation happening. We might as well do something when we're in the ground, you know? Love you. Think about it and let me know your thoughts. I want all of your thoughts. If it's not this, then maybe I'll have my ashes made into jewelry. But seriously, I'm probably going to do this. No harm in planning ahead. I'm alright. Yep. Truth is, you never really know. You never know when it's gonna happen. We all have, a date, and we don't know when it is, or when it's coming, and we never will. And that's when it's good to have a plan. It's good to have a note or have information that someone knows, so that you can tell them, hey, if this were to ever happen to me, unexpectedly, this is what I want. Because, the only thing that will be left of you when you die is your body, which will mean very little to you, but it will mean something to everyone around you, just everyone who goes to your funeral. And, the memories that you leave behind. The memories and the way you made people feel and what you gave into the world. That's where you will continue to exist, even if your body is no longer working. Anyways. What is this? Disregard her son's well as it concerns matters of Vera. He was clearly not thinking right and didn't know what he really wanted. Proceed with an open casket funeral. As for payment, we'll be writing a check. Yikes, what is this? was hoping we would have to confront this situation, yet anyways, they're never easy. Virgin Daughter has been asked to prepare a body of a young man who took his own life. He had a will prepared and asked for cremation, but his family has demanded a traditional burial instead. Unfortunately, he didn't make anyone his power of attorney, or didn't have any witnesses sign his living will or his advanced directive regarding these wishes, so his family is legally in the right to do whatever they want with his body. It's unfortunate, but we have to do as his family wishes. Matthew has graciously offered to take this one on if you are uncomfortable with the subject. Instead, we have a second body you can prepare for a funeral we're hosting later this afternoon. Charlie, is suicide something you're comfortable dealing with? Let me know. I'm here if you need me. Yes, I'm comfortable with this. Oh, okay. This is where shit gets heavy. See, this is a situation where I'm like, you should respect the wishes of the dead. Like, there's no reason for you to fucking... Oh yeah, we gotta massage the body. I forgot. I was gonna go straight for the eye cups. And then we gotta glue the eye shut. Yep, and then we gotta sew the mouth shut. Real talk, I'm someone who suffers pretty bad with depression. It's genetic on one of my sides of the family. And it's something I've definitely thought about doing. It occasionally still happens where I think about committing suicide. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like even if you have legal right over someone's body, you should respect what they wanted when they died, no matter how they died. Yeah, like, no matter what age they died, or how, whether it was suicide or an accident or anything, if there's a specific way they wanted to be buried, you should acknowledge that. And even though we can't legally do anything in this situation, which I was hoping it would give me the option, and I could just, actually hoping I could cremate him anyways, but, it's just, I don't know. So all those things that I feel like you should respect what they wanted when they died. Michael, take care of his makeup, as well as dressing him and putting him in the casket. Okay. Here we go. Ugh, okay. I wish we were closer. Wow, I still can't believe this is real. My baby brother. I should have played more games with him when he asked. Yeah. I still can't believe he did it. I feel like I should have known, been able to do something to stop it. There's no way you can know. You can't blame yourself. He wouldn't have wanted that. I know. It hurts. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Man. This is getting really close to home for me. I heard it wasn't going to be open casket. I'm surprised it's public. Usually funerals for these circumstances are more private. Yeah, Yeah, the thing about people who commit suicide, they never want other people to blame themselves. I think that's why, that's part of the reason why there's a lot of controversy around, like, the show 13 Reasons Why, is because she makes all these tapes explaining, like, what other people did to her to make her want to commit suicide. And yes, certainly the way you treat people will affect their mental health, and it will affect what actions they may take. And certainly if you are someone who harasses people because you can, you kind of deserve to feel some blame for that. However, ultimately, it's important to know that people who commit suicide think they are being selfless, typically, by taking their own life. A lot of people from the outside will say, oh, this is so selfish. Like, how could they do this? And honestly, on their point of view, they think they're helping the world by leaving it. They think so low or bad in themselves, and they think, things will never get better, and I can't get better, and people will be happier if I'm not around. And they believe it. They don't just say it. I mean, people who are truly suicidal, they believe it for sure. And it's hard. It's really hard to deal with. It's really hard to accept, especially once it's like happened. And not to say that everyone who's suicidal will commit suicide. That's not entirely true. But people who are depressed, or people who have had suicidal tendencies in the past, or self-harming tendencies, are definitely more likely to. And that's where, like, you never know. Because sometimes people are very open with that. People are very much like, I'm sad and I need help. And, well, not just sad, like, I'm depressed and I'm suicidal and I need help. But more often than not, people won't share that part of their lives. Typically, they think that if they share this part, that they will be hurting the people around them. And they think that their problems are a burden on other people. And that's where you really got to pay attention to people. And some people, they're suicidal and they don't show it. They don't show it at all. They keep it all hidden. They'll cut themselves where people can't see it, or they'll have a journal or make drawings or music or some way that will reflect the pain that they feel. And they may keep it a secret. And that's where I think it's important to have open conversations with people in your life. It's important to try and get to know them, and whenever you notice something different about them, say something, like reach out. Even if you can't put your finger on exactly why something seems off to you, like, just check in with people. Check in with the people you love. In the case of having regrets, like this girl was talking about, I'm gonna say this. You never know when you will lose anyone. You just don't. You never know when you lose someone. You'll never know when you yourself are going to die. You'll never know when you're going to see someone for the last time. And that's why when you're talking to family, the last thing, even if you're fighting, this is something my friend and her mom does, even if they're fighting and disagreeing, the last thing they say to each other is, I love you, because they never want it to be anything else should anything happen. You don't ever want the last thing you've said to someone be, I hate you, when you don't mean it, or you're saying it in the heat of the moment. And then that be the last thing you've ever said to them. Especially in cases like these, because then it might lead to self-blame. And certainly there will be like some survivor's guilt, and there will always be the thought that I could have done something, I could have changed something, like if I had just been there more, if I had known, if I had changed something. And here's the thing, once you get to this point, you can't change anything. You can't change anything with the person you've lost, because it's already happened and you have to move on. But what you can do is change the way you act in the future for that next person who might be in your life who's suffering like this. And certainly, whenever you experience a suicide in the family, I recommend grief counseling or going to a therapist and talking to them and trying to understand why it happened as best you can. Some people don't leave notes. It very rarely happens, but it does occasionally happen. And And it's rough. I mean, death is very hard, but suicide is even harder for people to process. Because most people don't really understand it. And most people usually want to fix it or solve it or blame themselves when really it's not your fault. It's unfortunately things like depression and suicidal thoughts and tendencies are part of life and part of things that people deal with in life. And you don't always know when someone's going through that. And it's rough and it sucks. And sometimes you can't. My dad told me this story about two men who were on a beach. One of them walked out of his house during one night after there had been this really rough storm or something, and the tide had come in earlier in the day. Now the tide was lower, and he saw this guy running up and down the beach, grabbing things on the beach and throwing them into the water. So he walks down from his house and walks over to this guy, and as he gets closer, he realizes there's starfish all over the beach that the tide had brought in. And this guy's going around grabbing every starfish that he can, and throwing them back in the water. And this stretches on for like a mile. And the man in the house yells to the guy, you can't save them all, so it doesn't make a difference. And the man throwing the starfish stops, grabs the starfish off the beach and says, but it matters to this one, and throws the starfish back into the beach. Or into the ocean, sorry. And I think that's kind of true with, trying to save people or save animals or save kids or anything. You can't save them all, but it does matter to the ones that you can. And that's why reaching out and doing what you can do is important. Even if it doesn't seem that way. It matters. It matters. Okay, we're gonna move on because this is... I could talk about this for like an hour. Okay. Another month later. Okay. So we have an email from Hillside Heritage. Oh, that's the... Okay. Yep. Wow. Bronze, silver, gold. Payment plans available subject to additional fees and taxes. Wow, so there's no pricing. It's just like, here are the packages and da 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 da. Wow. Okay. Already hate that. So this is an email from this guy saying, hey, welcome to our thing, and there's going to be some changes. Sent out a memo regarding the changes from Matthew Jeffrey. I love the PS. I haven't even read this, but the PS. If you were reading this, Hillside Overlord, good. Okay, can I just say first off that this is bullcrap. Ugh, knowing how corporations want, I wouldn't be surprised if they're monitoring our emails now. No, okay, I don't really believe that. I'm just upset. I get Amy didn't have much of a choice. You can only fight a huge corporation taking all of your business for so long. This isn't 6 feet under. They just swooped in, and now we have to deal with their BS practices. They're colder than the corpse I picked up from the morgue this morning. Who charges this much for funerals? It feels dirty and exploitive. Let's grab a drink after work. I need to blow off some steam, and emails aren't really the most appropriate place to do this. Too late for me, I guess. And then the BS. Hillside Overlord. Good. Funerals monthly, different funeral traditions. Okay, this is another kind of funeral tradition thing. Okay. Funeral rites, even in our own culture, may be something many of us may be unfamiliar with. For many people, all they know of funeral traditions are what they've seen in the media. But, and I think this goes without saying, funeral rites and traditions aren't the same across the board. Different cultures have different protocols for cleaning the body to different aspects of the service itself. Religion provides different paths for dealing with the death, but the goal is almost always the same, offering support, guidance, and ease to the people who are grieving. In Judaism, interment usually begins immediately after somebody has passed. Up until burial, the body is never supposed to be alone, so often families will appoint a shomer or a guardian to remain with the body. Preparations for burial begin as soon as possible in Muslim traditions as well. Local Islamic community organizations are also often involved and help the family make arrangements for the funeral service and burial. Huh. I didn't know that. But thinking about the way that, like, we used to think before we had funerals as, like, a standard industry thing, it kind of makes sense to have someone with a body, or to try and bury them as soon as possible and stuff. For a number of reasons. But not all practices are strictly religiously focused. In the aughts in South Korea, the amount of graveyard space began to shrink drastically, causing a law to be passed that required families to remove a loved one's body from its burial place after 60 years. Many families begin to cremate more often, but there are also companies that compress remains into turquoise, pink, or black. Into beads. Sorry, there are also companies that compress remains into beads in turquoise, pink, or black called death beads. This also occurs in North America, Europe, and Japan, but remains much more common in South Korea because of the space issues in graveyards and the expenses of cremation. Huh. Maybe I should be made into death beads when I die. I'd like to be a death bead necklace, all pink and black. And not all the practices are somber either. Ever hear of the turning of the bones, or Famadihana, a ritual by the Malagasy people of Madagascar? Famadihana has families return to an ancestral crypt, exhume the bodies wrapped in cloth before dancing with the bodies to lively music. This practice is a celebration and remembrance and way of keeping the deceased involved in family news. Death can be a difficult time for many people, obviously, but that doesn't mean there isn't a beauty in the ways we choose to honor and celebrate our deceased. That's fascinating. I've never heard of that. But I think celebrating someone's life rather than mourning their death is a very comforting way to view death, especially since it's so inevitable. You know, maybe some people would rather they celebrate the life that they had than focus on the fact that they're gone. Celebrate the mark they made. And the place is that the love that they leave in people's hearts, rather than the fact that they won't be able to talk again. Okay, from Death Cafe to subscriber. Come increase awareness of death with a view to helping people make the most of their finite lives. Join us, have a tea and cake, and talk with others about their thoughts, fears, and illuminations on death. The founder of the Death Cafe movement, John Underwood, once said, "When people talk about death and dying, it tends to illustrate their humanity." See everyone at the Upside Down Jar next Thursday, Death Cafe. You're invited to attend a Death Cafe. Can't really write much right now. I have a lot of work to do with an inguinal hernia. With an inguinal hernia from 1750. Sorry, I kept trying to say 19, but it's not the number. I'm a bit dyslexic, if you haven't noticed. It's the oldest in our collection, and you can even see this bit of paper the surgeon put in after removing the hernia. Super cool. I'll send you a link when we have it cataloged. What is my life? What is the sentence I just typed? But anyway, this event I'm going in forward to you is taking place near you. Figure you'd be into it. Might help with that feeling of lusciousness you were talking about before. Could be good to talk about some of the things you're feeling. Lots of death positive people out there. Sounds like it'll be a safe place. fucking love Jen. What is this? Thank you, Mr. Grant, for agreeing to take care of Jocelyn's cremation. The bike accident was, well, it was more than I was expecting. I know she wanted to be cremated, and to be honest, I don't think I could bear seeing her in like that after what happened. Well, I want to review her work in order to properly evaluate you at the end of the month. Get right to it. Okay, let's see this lady. So she got into a bike accident. I'm gonna take the jewelry off. Yep. She didn't have I don't think she had a pacemaker or anything. Didn't say she had it, just said that they're cremating her. Okay, yeah, there we go. Nothing blew up, so I think we're fine. Yep, so we'll put this here. Oh, she has a really lovely urn. I don't know if I don't think the other urns have this pattern, but I like the pattern on that one. So, I'll put the bones in. Come on. Yep, put it back on the counter. Put this in here. Put the identification tag in there. And this on top. Yep. Time for another fucking funeral. Okay. Should we do a vigil at the spot? Careless drivers, I swear to God. Shit. She got hit by a car. I'm glad I'm here, but wow, I need a glass of wine and to binge watch something right now. Relatable. Helps block out the feelings when you don't know what to process. I have to go through all of her things. How am I supposed to decide what to keep? If you need help, I can help. No, thanks. But no, I don't know. It's so intimate. It feels like I should do it myself. She would kill me if she saw the things we have. She would kill me if others saw the things we have. Yeah, she was kind of a closed book, except to you. Yeah. She was special. She was always so careful, wore her helmet, signaled, used the bike lanes. Asshole drivers, they need to pay attention. Have you heard what's happening to the driver? No, I haven't wanted to ask Leah. This has been hard enough on them, without asking about the legal ramifications of all this. Yeah, after all this, let's see what we can do to help them. Shouldn't deal with the death of their partner all by themselves. Yeah, man. So glad it was cremation. I would have lost it seeing her body. Whew. God, yeah, accidents are probably part of the worst. That's why, when you drive, you should remember that you're technically driving a huge death machine that if you hit somebody with, you will kill them. But, yeah, we'll talk about more of that next time. For now, I gotta sign off. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Hi everybody, my name is Jade, and we're back with a Mortician's Tale. So, picking up where we left off. We have... Oh god, what happened? I don't know if I want to read this. Doctors... Okay, what's this? Home funerals, why do it? The appeal of a home funeral is apparent for many, especially if the deceased was somebody very close to you. The idea of keeping them at home until they are ready to be buried or cremated can be comforting. It wasn't that long ago when we were taking care of our own deceased, but nowadays people are quick to pass off their loved ones to a funeral home. Most families aren't given the option and assume this is mandatory. Funeral homes will almost always prepare the deceased using embalming and other methods to make them appear more alive, but isn't this process counterintuitive to the grieving process? Yeah, someone could argue that. I see the argument for that. or against it, whatever. Being around the deceased allows the bereaved to spend a longer period of time with their loved one's body, which can help them mourn or give opportunities to family members and friends to see the deceased one last time before they are taken to be buried or cremated. The idea of keeping the deceased body at home might sound gross, but it's important to understand that decomposition takes a long time, and you can further slow this process by keeping your home cool and dry. To be around your loved ones and see them decay naturally is an important part of the grieving process. Home funerals aren't just more intimate, but they are economical. A traditional funeral complete with body preparation service, flowers, cards, and many other hidden costs and fees can cost up to $7,000 to $10,000. Holy crap. When you're able to take care of your loved one yourself, to wash and dress them, to organize their viewing at home, the only cost remaining is entirely in the cremation or burial itself. However, it's important to understand that the different rules apply given on what state you live in. In all states, it is legal to have your loved one's body at home after they die. States like Alabama, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, New Jersey, and New York require a funeral director's involvement, from signing the death certificate to overseeing burial or cremation. Really? I wonder why. If this is the route you decide to go for yourself or your loved ones, make sure you follow everything by the book. But just know that this may be the option available to you and your loved ones if you so choose. What? I saw a video of a gorilla walking on its hind legs like a human being, Charlie. A human being. We as a species have seen the beginning of our end. Oh my god, I fucking love Jen. I wish I could reply to her. Green Burial Policy. Hello, Charlotte. I reviewed your request on behalf of a potential family inquiring if we have a hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. can and will perform green burials. I should have informed you that this in the beginning, but we do not perform green funerals as they are not cost expensive. All employees and subsidiaries of must comply. We do not wish to lose potential customers, though. So do try your hardest to convince the families requesting green burials to instead choose a traditional burial package. Compete with embalming caskets, the vaults instead. I trust that you will ensure we do not lose any customers, Charlotte. My name is fucking Charlie, asshole. Okay, here we go. As stated in the previous email, here are the new rules and code of conduct I expect you to follow from now on. First and foremost, there is a required uniform and strict dress code from now on. Second, most importantly to this is that no tattoos are visible. If you have visible tattoos, ensure they are properly covered and hidden. Okay. And speaking with customers and clients, consider the opportunity to upsell, i.e. always encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase the higher quality package. We find that encouraging loved ones to think of the comfort and style the deceased has an experience with no price limit on it. Additionally, food is no longer allowed to be brought in. Instead, encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase our premium sandwich and appetizer food package. Our partner Catering Concepts provides high-quality foods that will be delivered weekly from their factory and can be easily defrosted the morning of the funeral. What? Affect all the above changes to be instituted effective immediately to ensure smooth transition. High quality services, my fucking asshole. Charlie, I need a drink. Beer after work? Bruh. Absolutely. P.S. Also, I really want mozzarella sticks. I can be both hungry and angry. And no, I will not say hangry, ever. Okay. Surely, I'm proud to announce the hillside and I received a contract with the city to dispose of any unclaimed bodies. It's an important revenue stream for us, and I'm sure you didn't explain to you, Charlotte. My name is fucking Charlie. Although hillside heritage is paying a decent wage, cremation is preferred here and is more cost efficient of the two options. First included body will be handling belongs to a middle-aged and possibly homeless whose body has yet to be claimed. No special preparations are needed for the cadaver aside from cremation. It's kind of sad. I guess you have to do something with unclaimed bodies, but I don't know. Shouldn't you check for a pacemaker or something if you don't know who this guy is? I feel like you should check. It is a body you're about to cremate, so it's not like it really is concerning if you cut it open, but you should probably check. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm sure people in real life probably check to see if there's pacemakers inside people's bodies before they just fucking bury them, you know, if they don't know. Oh, right, darn. Whoops. It keeps telling me every time how to do this, but, like, I got it, man. Yeah, put this in here. Bye, dude. Anyway, this is gonna be the sad part, because I doubt anybody's here to claim him. Yeah. See, this is sad to me. Nobody's here. It's nobody knows him or claimed him. I think that's probably the worst thing that could happen to somebody after they died, is if no one was there to mourn them. No one was there to remember them. I think that's when, like, a true death happens. Here we go. Another email. Emails. Multiple emails. 5 emails. Wait, who did you kiss? Oh my god, from Jen. Oh, okay, this is gonna be big. Dating a special effects makeup artist, and she's like the coolest person I've ever met in my life. She totally loves Ava's possession and was equally freaked out by the possession scenes, but so utterly delighted at the idea of a support group for people who have been possessed. That was your best recommendation in a while, Charlie. You were slipping there. I was worried you might have lost your taste. But yeah, her name is Lily, and she's super death positive and isn't freaked out by my work, and also isn't too into it like the last dude I saw. Michael? God, I can't remember. Sick fucking horror movie references, babe. I just really like spending time around her. I can't talk about whatever I want, and it's never a conversation stopper. That's great. She also totally gets what I mean when I say that, like, working with death and spending so much time thinking about death actually makes me happier. It makes everything else feel so much more worth it, you know, memento mori or whatever they taught us in that one poetry class we took. That's not what memento mori means, but you know what? We'll move on. We just clicked. Feels good. Fun and affirming, like dating should be. That's true. I'm thinking of taking her to Maple Meadow. She's super into roller coasters, and I think the idea of sharing cotton candy, or maybe not, I don't want to throw up on the rides, is sickeningly cute. God, I had a hard time with that word. And then maybe I'll kiss her on top of a Ferris wheel. Be super corny and cliche for once in my life. Anywho, enough about me for now. I'm still kind of in shock from your last email. Do you think you're going to do it? You have my support 100% no matter what you decide. What? I wish I could see the previous emails. Water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. Water cremation. Water cremation? God, I'm learning a lot about death. We can call it a few different things, like flameless cremation, a bit of an oxymoron, but we'll let it slide. Or perhaps more commonly, resomation. It's a technical name, though it's actually alkaline hydrolysis. Whatever you want to call it, it's here, and it's an environmentally friendly alternative to traditional cremation. But for the sake of this newsletter, let's call it water cremation. We all know that traditional cremation and burial takes a huge toll on the environment, the high energy consumption that adds to the greenhouse gas effects being one of the chief amongst them. And water cremation is an alternative method available for the eco-conscious amongst. How does it work? It's basically a water-based chemical process that usually uses a really strong alkali in the water heated up to a very high, about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It basically works like a sped up version of a natural decomposition. The excess water gets put through the same water treatment process as any sewage water at a factory, and the alkaline hydrolysis uses significantly less energy than a traditional cremation process. Neat, huh? That is actually neat. I wouldn't have thought of that as a cremation process. It's been around for a bit, and some places became legal around the end of the first decade of the aughts. Not a bad alternative for those who don't want their death to have any greater impact on the environment than necessary. Sorry, I'm sighing a lot. I think I need... Oh! Am I gonna start a business? Charlie. Yes, start a business. Okay. I'm done. Charlie, it's official. I've put in my 2 weeks notice. You know how unhappy I am working for Mega Corporation 101. My skills, especially my driving ones, are useful in other professions. I'm not worried about myself, but you I'm worried about. You're too good for this corporate scum. You actually take care about people you work with and for. Don't let them defeat you, okay? I'll bring burgers over next week. We can talk a little bit more freely. I love you, Matt. You're great. Just signed a contract with Morning Valley Hospital, allowing us to access all the cadavers that come through the pediatric... What? Allowing us to access all the cadavers coming through their pediatric and maternity wards? Am I gonna have to bury babies? We're excited for 50 million in funding. Jesus Christ. Whatever. What is this? Oh, okay. So this is a guy who's he wants to have a home funeral for her wife. Okay, and he said, where is his emails? Always so fucking long. I'm sorry to honor your wife's through traditional funeral package instead. I promise you, funeral. Dude, beautiful intimate gathering. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone should be your wife. Ensuring that let us take care of you. Your daughter's gonna. Okay, so he's saying go for the traditional. Okay, we'll take the traditional funeral package. Thank you for considering this. Is the harsh side. Bitch, he's not considering you. He's considering his wallet. He doesn't care. If you see you were not able to convince the Mika family to take a standard funeral, I had to contact myself in order not to lose the sale. Please read the enclosed emails for a lesson on how to properly upsell potential customers. Customers, because you refuse to upsell, this is part of your job. Fuck you. I'm so glad she's gonna start her own business. Yeah, I know how to clean the fucking body at this point. Start with the sponge. Clean the body. Yep. And you gotta massage the body to get the rigor mortis to go away. Well, not go away, but at least lessen. Eye caps. And then we're gonna glue the eyes shut. And then cotton ball in the mouth. And then we're gonna stitch up her mouth. And then we're gonna lotion the body. No, come on. And then scalpel. And then we need a tube here. And a thing here. And another tube. Yeah. And then we're gonna hit the power button. Yep. It's time to massage. Embalming fluid into the body. I wonder if you actually have to massage bodies. Like, if morticians really have to massage bodies to get the fluid to leave. I guess it makes sense. You know, because fluid's not flowing. There's nothing pumping it. Or if it's... You know what? I don't know why I'm questioning this, because this game seems to be really in-depth about death. So... Okay, now we're gonna... suture it up. And now we're going to take the excess fluid from the organs out of the body. Yep. And someone else is going to take care of that. Okay, so we're going to go to the funeral again. I just realized I think this episode is like 30 minutes. Oh, whoops. I'm starving. Why do these things always make me so hungry? You're always hungry. Bitch, me too. It's so cold in here. I think they have the air conditioning not too high. Yeah, let's go for a walk later. It's nice to it's really nice out. Would like to stretch my legs. Yeah, you kind of do that to make sure the body doesn't start rotting or anything. It feels so impersonal. She would have hated this. Yeah, I don't know, but they must have had their reasons. Oh, hey, what did you think of that trailer that you... Oh, yeah, I heard the show is so good. I saw that video of the one kid actor doing karaoke. Yeah, because talking about karaoke right now isn't impersonal either. I mean, not to defend. Did we do the right thing? I feel bad not doing what Mom asked for. I know, honey. What that chat guy said seems right. We don't want to dishonor her memory by letting her rot. Yeah, I just want Mom to know I loved her. I wish I hadn't yelled at her before. It's okay. She knew you loved her. Fights happen. Please don't be hard on yourself. Yeah. I'm going to miss her. Me too. Yeah, that kind of goes back to something I said before, where you gotta be careful what the last thing you say to somebody is, because you never know. And by the way, yes, they totally should have had a home funeral if that's what she wanted. And I feel bad that, like, my boss fucking talked them into paying money for this shit. Okay. It's after the summer. And... oh, I started my own business. Cool. But we're going to have to pick that up next time, because this episode is like half an hour long or something now. So, we will continue this journey into death next time. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. My name is Jade, and we're getting back into Mortician's Tale. Had a bit of an audio issue before I started this, so we're picking up a little bit after where we left off last time. Thus far, we, that is Charlie, has opened her own funeral home, an actual burial park, and she is much more, like, her prices are much lower, and she is much more, I don't know, it feels much more personal than the last place she worked. Amy was congratulating me. Matthew is telling us that he got a job as a bus driver. And he was worried about telling us because he was thinking that we might judge him for it. So picking up, I didn't know how else to tell you, but for some reason I was worried you'd think less of me. But I don't know why. You've never been the judgmental kind. And besides, corpses are way easier to deal with than children. Screaming children, I might add. I actually love it. These kids can be pretty cute. But don't tell Amy that I told you that. She was always harping on me for not having any kids and for being all cynical about them. Grats on your new biz, Charlie. I'm proud of you. I'll swing by your new place one day and show you my new wheels. Maybe we can grab a bite to eat. Be seeing you, Matthew. I miss Matthew. Congratulations on your new business, from Jen, my favorite. Charlie, I'm so happy for you. I know it's been a rough year for you. Seriously, I think our wine intake saw a bazillion% increase, but you stuck through it all like a champ. You deserve this. Finally be able to be your own boss is a great move for you. No more having to explain anything you don't want to. I'm trying not to be too cheesy right now. Can't wait to come home next week for a visit and to check out your new space. Always, Jen. P.S. Have you heard about these green burial pods? When I find the link in my 1 million open tabs, I'll shoot it over to you. Okay, this is something I think I've actually heard about. Dear Charlie, today's the day already, isn't it? I can't believe how quickly this has come up. Thank you for your understanding, your work. You've made it easier already. See you at 1 p.m. I'll see you soon. Okay. So now I'm my own boss, and I can show my tattoos off, and I can dress a certain way. Oh. And we're having a green burial. This hurts. I thought it'd be easier, but it's not. It hurts so much. But thank you for helping me give her the funeral she always wanted. Anyways, I think we're ready to get started now. Oh, is that the game? Oh my god. I thought there'd be more to it, so I cut it off at the last episode, but apparently not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Special thanks to the Order of Good Death, Death and the Maiden, Keelan Dory. Oh, wow. Our friends were... Oh, wow. So I think maybe... Okay, these people all probably worked on it a little bit in different ways. Meredith Bastian, B. Future Luna Tyler. Well, if I knew that this was gonna... Unity and Firmud? I don't know how to pronounce that. Ontario Arts Council. Okay, so this is Canadian. Memory of Elaine D'Arizino, Emil Elgelman, and Camille Colodezige. Huh. Well, shit. I didn't know that would be so short. I mean, technically it wasn't short. It took me several recording sessions to get through this game, but if I know that that's where it was going to end, I would have cut off the last episode. Whoops. Oh well. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's a Mortician's tale. I hope anyone who watched this got something out of it. Whether it was learning more about your options that you have when you're gone or when your family members pass, or learning about how to respect other cultures or respect other people who have certain wishes when they die. And hopefully maybe you learn something about what to say and what not to say at a funeral, and certainly maybe something about how to cope with death. I don't know. I'm no expert. But it's never easy. No matter what happens, no matter what advice I give out to people, death comes for us all. And I think the only thing you can really do to prepare for that is to be careful of what you say and do and how you treat people, and always act like whatever day, on any given day, that it might be your last, because you don't know. Even people who are told they're going to die, whether it's cancer or a tumor or anything else, you should always be prepared that it could be any day, because ultimately you don't know. You could get hit by a car. Even if you're safe, it can still happen because of stupid drivers, or, if someone you love might have a heart attack or die in their sleep, die of old age, which really you can't really die of old age. You can only really die if something like fails at night, or anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but my point is, I hope that if anyone watching this took anything from it, it's that, one, this is a beautiful game, and if you want to play it, you absolutely can. You can find it at itch.io. I'll post a link in the description to their page. Death is inevitable. And what's really left behind after you're gone is the way you made people feel, the last thing you said to them, and certainly people that you love and the people who are going to grieve for you. And I think that's I think the saddest thing for me watching all this was the kid who committed suicide, whose wishes weren't granted when he, was buried. I think it's very important to acknowledge what people's wishes were for their bodies after they've died. Because as much as you may feel ownership over that body, it's not yours. It's someone else's. And they certainly have specific ways they might want to be taken care of after they've passed. And the other thing is the homeless man who was unidentified and didn't have anyone for his funeral. I think even if you're homeless, you know, no one wants to feel like they're going to be alone where they die, and no one deserves to be alone when they die. At least very few people, few and far between, deserve that. And I'm only thinking of like the most extreme individuals who have hurt many people. Certain man from World War II comes to mind. But anyways. For example, my grandfather on my mother's side wasn't perfect. He was a man who struggled with depression but never got help. He was a man who had been through World War II and had a permanent dent in his head because of a piece of cannon that had come off and hit him in the head. He certainly had PTSD, and he was very abusive to my mom and my grandmother. And I never met him. He died before I was born, but I think if I had, I wouldn't have liked him. Based on everything that I've been told about him, it doesn't really paint a pretty picture of the man that he was. And as much as I'm assured that he had good parts about him, you know, everybody does. Everybody has something good in them. Even the worst people in the world think they're doing something for the right reason, for a just reason, typically. The world is very much gray and not black and white. There's typically a large variety of shades when it comes to people and their morals and their motivations. And ultimately, you know, everyone wants someone in their lives, and they don't want to be alone when they die. Ultimately, you are alone when you die. You know, no one's going to die with you or experience it with you, or at least it very rarely happens that there is like a double suicide or anything. But I think it's important to know that what you say, what you do, and the person you are, that will live on, and that will shape how people remember you and see you, and the life that you will live even after you're gone. And that's why I bring up my grandfather, because in my mind, even though there are good things about him, there are very, very few things that people can tell me now that were good about him. I can't even think of anything right now, and I have asked. And I know that if he were alive today, I probably wouldn't get along with the man. And for someone I've never met, I think I have no lower opinion of anyone else than I do of this man who was abusive towards his own family. To the point that that is all that they seem to remember about him. And I think when I die, I'd much rather be someone whose life continues as people remember the good things I did and the ways I helped them and the ways I made them feel good about themselves. And hopefully remember the times that I was there for them even when other people weren't, or, you know, was honest with them and did what I could to help them and comfort them and even help them become better people, hopefully. Everyone in their life, you know. Sorry, I just smacked my lips real hard. Everyone in their life makes mistakes. And no one in this world has lived a life without mistakes in it. Without having done something they regret or not done something that they regret. Done nothing and regretted having taken no action or said nothing when they saw something bad being done or something like that. I know I have plenty of regrets, and some of them are much greater than others. But through those regrets, I have learned, how to change to be better. How to move forward and make myself a better person, and how to learn from the ways that I have been hurt or have hurt other people. And I think that's important. I think it's important to look yourself hard in the face when you make a mistake, especially if it involves having hurt other people, and have a real talk with yourself and try and judge whether you made the right call or whether you may have overstepped or made a mistake. And when that happens, you gotta say to yourself, what do I do now? Do I need to apologize? Do I need to change as the person I am to someone better? How do I forgive myself, or how do I forgive this other person? It's very complicated. I don't have any answers that can be applied, paintbrush over everything. Very, very few times can you ever paint a broad stroke with a single brush. But I think when you look at death, it's a good time to remember what life means to you and what death means to you, and recognizing that even when you die, you still live in people's hearts and in people's minds and what they remember, and they're gonna remember way more how you made them feel than what you said to them or how you tried to make them feel. They're gonna remember how you really made them feel, and that's how you will be remembered. If you're someone who abuses your kids, they're gonna remember you as their abusive parent, even after you die. You know what I mean? And you gotta look at yourself in the face and say, am I okay with being this person? Am I okay with being remembered that way? Am I okay with staying this person that I am? And what does that mean to you? Speaking generally, are you happy with the person you are today? Or is there something you'd like to change? Whether that's, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel more confident about myself, or I want the people around me to know that I love them, or I want to, make more friends, or I want to help the causes that I believe in, or I want to chase this career that I believe in and that I love. Whatever happiness means to you, so long as you aren't stepping on other people to achieve that happiness, I think there's nothing wrong with chasing it. And I think there's nothing wrong with trying to change yourself when you realize there's a problem. I think if everyone in the world did something that made them feel alive and strove to be better people on a day-to-day basis, acting as if that day might be their last, and knowing that their actions in that moment may define who they are for the rest of the time that they are remembered, I think maybe we'd see more beauty in the world. Because you can be the most successful person in a career, you can have all this money, and you can have the best position and all that, but what does it matter if when you die, people are relieved, or if they don't remember you in a fond way? What does that mean? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with knowing that might be how people feel about you? I think when I die, I hope that people know how much I cared about them. Even if I'm bad at showing it sometimes. I hope people know how much I cared about others, about even the people that I had a bad relationship with. I hope that people know how much I regret actions I've taken in the past and wish I had been smarter or, know not to do that. But it's one of those things where sometimes people don't learn what they shouldn't do until they've done it and they've messed up. And that's where I think it also is important to keep in mind that people aren't perfect. They make mistakes and they deserve a second chance. Because if people really want to change, they will. They will. I know I have. Even in the last year, I've changed as a person. That's the thing. People can change in a year, they can change in a month. They won't change in a single day. That usually never happens. It takes time to change, to curb bad habits or learn good ones. But the idea that people are the same, no matter how long it's been, is one that needs to be abolished. Because people change. Even if it's not intentional, people do change. Certainly if they're the type of person who walks in other people or makes them feel bad, you should try and get them to change, but ultimately only they can change themselves, and that's where you have to know how much do I want to push this and how much do I want to be involved before I step back, before it becomes too stressful for me to try and police them, Police being a loose term here. I think if I'm gonna leave you guys off with anything, it's that you should love the people around you and that you should let them know how you feel. You should chase whatever makes you happy so long as you don't hurt other people. At least, not intentionally. If you're someone who intentionally hurts other people, and you deserve a funeral with no one there. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But sorry, that's super grim for all the shit I was just saying. But truth is, everyone wants love and friendship and family, I think. Whatever that means to them. And I think everyone has a right to pursue that in their lives. But, and even those who may be seen as the worst type of people should be given a chance to change and to learn from their experiences and from their faults and from their mistakes, because no one in the world has not made a mistake or not hurt someone and had to learn from it, or been hurt and have to learn from it and learn how to forgive themselves or forgive other people. And I think that's something that people tend to forget, is that the hardest thing isn't normally forgiving other people, it's forgiving yourself for the mistakes you made. Because maybe looking back at it now, oh, that was a mistake, I shouldn't have done that. But in the moment, you didn't. In the moment, you were making the mistake without knowing it. And that's how a lot of people learn. And I think that should be accepted. It should be acceptable for people to make mistakes and learn how to fail and learn from those failures how to make progress or be better or not make those same mistakes. Of course, that Doesn't mean you purposefully want people to make mistakes. No one wants to make a mistake. It's seen as this very embarrassing thing across cultures, is to make a mistake or be wrong about something or fail. But it's very normal. And I think as long as you spend your life trying to be a better person, your true efforts will come out in your death. And the day that you die, the last thought in your head shouldn't be, I should have done this. I should have gone there. I should have been a better person. I should have told my wife I love her. I should have traveled more. Your last thing you think about in life should be, I have no regrets. I think that's the goal for everybody. Well, I'm gonna leave that there because I feel like I could keep ranting and rambling about this and exploring different sides of my thoughts right now. Very complex feelings. Very beautiful music too. But I'm gonna leave this here, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Have a good day. And tell everyone around you, I love you.